Namaskar. I'm Sarika, a yoga teacher by profession, founder and host for the Meeting Point podcast. Today's episode is part of our wellness series where we are speaking on the topic of misunderstandings and relationships. Okay? Many of us go through phases where we end up having some communication problem or we end up developing some sort of a misunderstanding with our loved ones, with our friends, family, even our coworkers. Yeah. We also end up, with a lot of negative thoughts. We end up creating a toxic environment around us, or the situation ends up becoming like that. And that makes you wonder as to why this has happened. What can you do to resolve the situation? Yeah. Or you also end up thinking that, okay, nobody understands me. So, to have a conversation on these questions that arise because of such situations, we have invited a life and relationship coach, Chitkala Mulye. She's been, handling such situations, answering questions for a very long time, and she's very experienced in her field. Okay. So, without spending much time, I would like us to begin the conversation, and I would like you to really pay attention to some of the simple things that she's talking about in this podcast. And that would make you think, oh, why didn't I think about it or think about a situation from this angle? So, stay till the end because this is going to be a very interesting and a helpful conversation that you will watch and listen to. Yeah, let's begin. Chitkala, welcome to the Meeting Point podcast. I'm so thrilled to have this conversation with you.
Me too. Thank you so much.
And you've suggested so many interesting topics, and those are fascinating as well. But before I go there, I want to understand the meaning of your name, Chitkala. This is the first time I'm hearing somebody with that name.
Oh, yeah. My name means art of consciousness.
Too much coincidence.
Yeah.
And that's what you do.
Exactly. Using consciousness to help people transform themselves and reality around.
Yeah. So, who named you?
Oh, my mother.
Your mother?
Yeah.
So she sort of knew then.
Yeah, maybe.
Otherwise, yeah, this is a very unique name. I have not heard.
I love my name too.
Yeah. Lovely.
Thank you.
So, there's so much to talk about. But since you're into transformation and you're a life coach or so, would like to understand what love exactly means and what consciousness means, because these are such heavy words. Love, of course, is used very loosely, probably even consciousnesses, maybe. So if we have to sort of understand these words.
Okay. Let's start with love. You tell me, what's love for you?
So many emotions,
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me more. Let's keep consciousness aside. We'll come to it a little later. Let's start with love. Love is something easy for people to understand, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but how do you take people around that word?
Of course, I'm getting to it. I want you to tell me what is love for you.
Oh, for me? Okay.
Yeah.
For me, it has a lot of emotions, something which is unconditional. You don't expect anything in return.
Right.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
You're just giving and you have no idea why.
Absolutely. So, love is used loosely, but I would still say every form of love is a form of love.
Okay.
And, it all started from my own discovery about the meaning of love, because I was searching for love everywhere, right from my childhood. And when I felt I got love, I realized it wasn't love. It was attachment. It was dependence. Then I felt, oh, what is love then? Love, what we like, love, the love we give, of course, unconditionally. But then I started understanding that love has got its own different forms of expression. We can love a plant, we can love a painting, we can love a person. But as we go deeper and deeper, and we realize, then we come to a point where we feel, oh, it's not something that can be given or taken. People say, oh, I want to give you love. But love is something that is there within. Love is an energy. Love is a vibration. And of course, it finds its expression maybe through words, maybe through actions. Of course, selfless. But It's an energy. Love is everywhere.
Okay.
And it starts from ourselves first. Because unless and until we learn to give ourselves love, how can we learn to give others?
Okay.
So just imagine you inviting somebody for at your home, maybe for a party, and you're cooking something special. Won't you taste it first? Like how it is? Is it cooked well? Is it tasty enough? Similarly, when we have to be nice to others, when we have to be giving to others, when we really have to, have that understanding whether we're meeting their needs or not, we need to first understand, are we capable of meeting our own needs? Ignite that love within us and then let it go to others. So our love, in my life journey where I was searching for love and I didn't get it anywhere, that unconditional love which I wanted to be selfless, I came to a point where I tried to ignite it in me. I tried to focus on self-love. And then I started getting love from everywhere around. And then I came to a point where I realized, oh, that's the reflection of my own love. So it's like people are mirrors. We give them love, the energy that comes back to us, wherever it can be. Maybe we are not getting the love from the same person where we are giving, but ultimately what comes back is the reflection of our own love. So love is everywhere. It's not like giving something to someone. It's not something that can be traded.
Okay. So then, where would this go? Where, there are people who, like you said, out of attachment.
Yeah.
Yeah. They think they love, but it's attachment or dependency or insecurity.
Of course, insecurity. More importantly, insecurity.
And you think you love that person. So obviously these people may not be loving themselves as much, right?
Exactly. That is where the point comes. And that's where people need to think. If they are not able to give love to others, that means they are not able to give love to themselves. Something is stopping them from loving themselves. Could be their childhood wounds, their traumas, whatever insecurities they may have, all of that.
Okay.
So to be capable of loving someone, we need to first be in tune with ourselves. We need to have a higher self-awareness where we understand ourselves better. In my sessions, I ask a simple question. I'll ask you the same one. What do you expect from people whom you love? Tell me.
I guess the first thought that comes to my mind is a good listening capacity.
Yeah, right.
That's
maybe care, maybe attention, appreciation, whatever.
Yeah.
Isn't it? But then the question comes is, are we capable of doing the same thing with ourselves? And most of us will say no. Because we will be self-critical. We will probably say, oh, I don't have time to spend with myself. How would I know what I feel? Or maybe somebody would say, oh, I'm so busy giving others that I have no time to take care of myself. But the point is, if we learn to take care of ourselves, if we learn to understand what is going on in our mind, what we want, we'll be able to understand others in a better way.
Okay.
It starts from us. See, we say lead by example. So instead of asking others to do something, first learn to do it with yourself. When people complain about their family members that, oh, this person is not being fair with me, this person is not giving me time, this person is not understanding me, then the point is, are you capable of doing that with yourself? If yes, then ask from others.
Yeah, and I don't think so anybody thinks
internally.
Everyone thinks externally.
Yeah.
Am I making sense?
Of course. And one thing, the self-love thing is often looked at as selfishness, but I want to raise one big point that I always raise. Is a lactating mother, okay, who's given lots of nutritious food, selfish? No, right? She needs to be fed so that she can give her baby the right nutrition.
Right.
So if a person has to do charity, then the pockets need to be full. A beggar cannot do charity.
Correct.
Oh, of course. A person, if you have got one chapati, you can definitely divide it into two halves and share. So that's about giving attitude, but we need to have something. So to have something, we need to work on ourselves. And that is where creating love within us begins. Slowly and steadily, our conversation is going to move towards consciousness, okay? Because from love, we came to self-awareness. And the biggest form of self-love that we can ever practice is self-awareness.
Okay.
Because that's where we come in tune with us. And once we are in tune with us, we can tune our behaviors and actions better catered to others' needs. And don't blame anything or anyone for what we feel, and take complete ownership. So once we are at peace, we are not going to ask anyone for that. So what we'll be able to do is just give, and give. But before we give, we must create.
Okay. Self-awareness, just trying to elaborate that bit or try to understand it better in what you explained is, like many a times when we are stuck in situations or something happens with us, we promptly blame it on others before looking at ourselves.
Yeah.
So that is also lack of self-awareness.
So when we talk about self-awareness, it is about what we think, what we feel, how we are acting. Just knowing what we are. Okay, focusing, bringing that attention to how our thoughts are going on. Now, let's see how they impact others.
Okay.
So once we get in tune with what we are thinking, then we can analyze better as to how they impact the other person.
Okay.
Again, if we talk about the impacting process, it's also going to be dependent on what kind of biases the person has. Like, okay, you know, you're behaving in a certain way, you said something, but that same thing can be interpreted in a different way by the other person.
Correct.
So again, we go away from the reality. So
Yeah.
coming back to the point, what we can do about relationships here, using self-awareness, is know what you're doing and how it's impacting other people. And not blame the other person for that, but take complete ownership that, oh, whatever is happening because of me. So let me see what I can change in myself so that reality around me changes. So I will connect self-awareness with taking ownership for better relationships.
Okay.
And the more we love ourselves, the more we accept our insecurities, the more we get in tune with ourselves, it becomes easy for us to monitor our actions, because that is where the balance comes into the picture. Yeah.
Balance of?
Balance of our thoughts and our actions.
Okay. So, why is it important for somebody to practice love?
We're talking about practicing self-love.
Self-love.
Okay, so I'll take the question
Conscious
as, why is that important to practice self-love?
Okay.
Practicing self-love is important because unless and until you put that thing into action, how are you going to get results, right? So we have to practice self-love in terms of physicality, in terms of emotional independence, intellectual growth, spiritual growth. So you want me to elaborate more on what I mean by self-love?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll just go one by one, considering the physical aspect. Unless and until our body is in correct shape, how can we do better? So the first thing is good sleep, high vibrational food, healthy food, then maybe workouts that keeps us fit, and then practices like meditation, which also give a body peace.
Okay.
So this is in terms of the physical part. So it can include things like, that people typically call self-care, maybe going on self-dates, where, you try to give yourself what you expect from other people. Then what is even more important, what is the crux of self-love lies here, the emotional independence part of it.
Okay.
So here, the codependency patterns, the insecurities, the expectations that we people have from others, this comes to an end. Where we decide that, oh, I am a human being who is capable of being wholesome. So I need to take responsibility of my own emotions, own thoughts, because that is what is going to dictate the reality.
Okay.
So what I think, how I think, that needs to be corrected. So of course, we need to monitor the kind of thoughts we have. Every negative thought needs to be replaced by a positive one, because it's just impossible that there's no human being who won't have negative thoughts. Then again, moving towards having your mind blank, a bit empty, so that we become more conscious. I'll elaborate that later on. Having thoughts about self-appreciation, so that we don't keep on seeking it through someone. Yes, self-talk is something that is a lot talked about. And what we talk transforms into the reality. So just imagine you sitting under a kalpataru tree maybe, and imagine that whatever you're going to speak is going to translate into reality. Now tell me what you will think. So just keep that thing in your mind and then just think.
That's a good approach.
Yeah. So it makes it easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that was about it. And yeah, one important thing is setting boundaries, because people can't say no. Many times there are lower vibrational people, or people who aren't right for you at that point of time. There's nothing right and wrong about anyone. It's just about somebody being right or wrong, or suitable or unsuitable at a given time. So we need to have energetic boundaries. So practically speaking, you should be able to say no. But if we speak in terms of spirituality, we can evolve to an extent where our vibration goes so high that whatever is not suitable for us is taken away. It doesn't come simply.
It just doesn't come to you. Yeah.
So that will elaborate when we talk about consciousness. But speaking in practical terms, saying no, creating the kind of environment that you want around you, and taking full ownership of what you feel and change it the way you want. So the mindset thing also comes into the picture over there. And then constant growth in terms of your intellect, so that you feel driven, motivated, that you're evolving into a better version of yourself with every passing moment. And then ultimately spiritual growth in terms of following your soul purpose, or following the purpose of your life, or just tuning in to your soul simply. Because for speaking in general terms, we do say there's a purpose of life, we have to follow it. But if we move towards spirituality and consciousness, life is purposeless. There's no purpose. There's whatever we think is nothing. So I will say tuning into your soul, focusing on consciousness, that's where our growth lies.
Okay.
So this was my concept of self-love.
Okay. Yeah, because the couple of things that sort of resonated. One is people keep looking appreciation outside or with others instead of appreciating how they are or how they look, or instead of them liking what they wear or how their thoughts are, they keep seeking validation outside.
Absolutely, validation.
Asking others, indirectly, directly, they're trying to seek validation. So that's one thing that needs to change.
Yeah, and when we speak about validation, how I kind of evolved through my validation needs is, to begin with, I started giving it to myself. Okay. Then there came a point I felt, I'm bored now, I know what I am. Why do I need validation?
Okay.
And so rather than seeking from someone, I started giving it to myself. And then I came to a point, and there's nothing like validation. You are what you are. So if it's the universe who's making things happen, you're just a medium. Why would you need validation?
Right.
You're not someone who needs to be validated. You're in fact no one. You're just a part of the flow. So that's where I came to. But of course, we need to give that validation to ourselves to a level till we evolve here.
Yeah, because for a layman, these terms like consciousness,
Absolutely,
or evolving, or what is my purpose, or what my soul wants, they have no connect.
Absolutely.
They don't know that.
So they need to understand is they who need to take the responsibility. Whatever they are seeking from others, they need to create within us, within themselves.
Within themselves, yeah. Yep. Makes sense, yeah. Validation is one thing that people keep doing. And the other one that just comes to my mind is blaming others. Isn't it? I see that very often. Mera galti nahi hai. I was thinking in the right way, but because this X person did this, it happened this way.
If we have to talk about the same situation in practical terms, this blame game, shift that blame game to the situation than people.
Meaning?
Meaning, rather than saying this person behaved in a certain way, I'm so angry with him. Oh, the situation was such that the person reacted in such a way. So we shift the blame from either of the persons involved to the situation. So that is where the anger diminishes. And that is where the love evolves, because we forgive.
You want to elaborate or give an example
Oh,
on this?
of course. Yeah, I will. So say you have a colleague maybe with whom you don't share a very good bond. And rather it's the opposite. It's always the politics that comes into the picture, or the way the person behaves is a bit irritating and pulls you down. So usually somebody will say he's a very bad person, I don't like him. Going ahead of that, maybe if you experience something good, maybe you're not well and the person helps you out, you say, all right, it's not that bad, he also showed some good sides of him. So there we start seeing in terms of gray. I'm talking about how consciousness expands, okay? And how expanding consciousness can make you change your approach. This is how I help people in relationships. Now let's go one step ahead. So what happens later is the person who has been very, very bad to you, or has really created hurdles in your professional growth in that company. Because of that, you switch the company. And you get a better package, you get a better job, and you're in a better state, and probably it takes you closer towards what you wanted in your professional career. Then looking back, joining dots, you will say, oh, so there was a reason why this person came into my life.
Yeah.
So, you know, the bitterness that we hold for a person slowly starts vanishing. Maybe then that person meets you at a different place and you establish a good connect. Maybe because the professional thing has ended and you see him as a human being. All the politics is dissolved. So then you start saying, oh, now let's be friends with him. Let's learn to love that person unconditionally. Because just the way I felt before, now the person has also changed because the context changed. So his behavior changed. It became more friendly. It became more natural.
Yeah.
And that's where you explore the possibility of unconditional love by forgiving him. So here forgiveness comes into the picture.
Okay.
And then you realize, okay, there's so many other people whom I may not like, but who are still so much, to some extent connected with me, some extent not connected. And then maybe you adopt an approach where you start seeing, oh, what is common in him and me, rather than looking at the differences, and rather than looking at the problems caused by the situation. Because coming back to our original example, here this person behaved in a negative way because he was constrained by the professional environment. He had to put his interests first, isn't it?
Right.
So again, we end up blaming the situation. Again, we see, are there any better possibilities that we can establish better connects with the people in the people who are a part of our discussion or maybe our consideration? And then slowly we start feeling one with everyone around. One with everyone around, in the sense we start seeing similarities. Then at a point we forget who we are.
Okay.
Rather than giving importance to that, oh, me, I like this, I like that, we get more interested in what other people do. Oh, this person is doing something nice, that appealed me. I feel connected to him. There's so much in common. Maybe I may not be doing it, but I'm appreciating what that person is doing. So then that consciousness expands to a level where we feel that we are one. Maybe it can start from family, then it can extend to the society, then it can extend ahead. Oh yes, we are a part of the same region. Maybe somebody will feel religion, somebody will feel country, and it goes on and on. And we feel that emotion of being united, and ultimately we are a part of the same source. Maybe some people will feel, oh, this person has got a similar vibration, so we are part of the soul group or some. So it depends on everyone how they look at things, but ultimately that feeling of being united will remain.
Yeah. I guess the quality of acceptance
enhances.
Enhances.
So it's about the acceptance and again going beyond it.
Yeah. Does this have anything to do with age? I'm just curious.
Not at all.
Not at all, right?
Yeah, because age is something that's defined by the physicality, isn't it?
Yeah, no, in the sense, physicality, yes.
It's ultimately the connect we share.
No, maybe I was asking from the perspective of exposure, experiences. The more experiences you gain, the more aware you become of the scenarios around and situations around, and then probably you learn to accept.
I feel rather than age or any other factors considered, ultimately what matters is what commonality do we have? Because here when we introduce this factor as well, here we are pointing at the difference. Oh, he is elder, I'm younger. How can we connect? We can connect with anyone, everyone who has got a similar thought process, similar emotion, similar, who is into a similar environment or whatever. It's just the thoughts need to be similar because thoughts are vibrations.
Right.
So that's what binds us. And going beyond, even if the thoughts are different, there's going to be one single common thing at least. So why think about the differences? Let's search for the common things, isn't it?
Correct, correct. So I guess once we work toward with this approach, then I guess there's expansion of self-love, expansion of self-awareness. So going back to, you had mentioned this term, negative talk. Yeah, many people tend to do that. Many people tend to do that. Yeah. And they don't realize it.
Of course.
And it's become their natural habit. Or rather, they start with that. Yeah. Do you want to talk on that a bit? Have you faced such people, or what can one do to even
it's a natural tendency. We all of us are like that. Yeah. Because see, we pick up negative habits faster than good habits, don't we? So our mind does that because it's a kind of defense mechanism to prepare ourselves for the worst. That is the reason why we have negative. What if this happens? What if that happens? So it's a natural mechanism of our mind to protect ourselves so that we don't run into the dangers.
Okay.
Because considering the way a man survived in the forest, considering the unknown enemies, considering the possibility of death, that was how our brain was programmed. So it's going to be a part and parcel of our life. But we, being more aware and more conscious beings, it's our duty to know that once we engage into negative self-talk, that is what is going to turn into reality. Whether you speak in spiritual terms or practical terms. Let me put that in practical terms first.
Yeah.
When we think in a certain way, the thoughts translate into emotions. Emotions into actions. Actions change situations. If the situations get worse, automatically our thoughts get even worse. So we need to keep a tap on what we are thinking. Now, if we talk about spirituality, then the emotions and thoughts are so powerful that they govern our auras, energies. So what we think is what we send out.
Okay.
So the universe thinks, oh, this is what the person wants. So if I keep saying, oh, my career is not going to go well, things are going to go worse, what's happening, it's a dead end for me, then it will actually become a dead end. Because universe, we are sending out that vibration. So whatever you send out is what you're going to attract. What you be, you attract. So you have to be careful about what you be. And being is consciousness.
So, but how does one understand or become aware that, okay, what I'm doing is constant negative talk? You know, many people have a very positive approach to things. They may look at the shortcomings of a situation or whatever, but they'll project it in a certain way, like, okay, ye theek hai na, this is how it is, so they accept it.
Yeah.
Okay, not that, they're very positive about it or so, but acceptance is there that, okay, you know what, this happened, fine.
Yeah.
But there are some people who will just go ranting over. Constant negative talk about it, constant negative talk. So, how do you make that person aware that, bhai, you have to, like, hold on, just take a step back and look at the situation and look at it from a different perspective.
Yeah. So, one interesting exercise that I ask people to do is when you're feeling low in any situation, stop engaging with the situation and just bring your attention to what you're thinking. Just observe your thoughts. If you can, note it down. If you don't want to note it down, just keep thinking. Just keep a track of what you're thinking. And that will eventually make you understand how many negative thoughts are going on. So the moment we feel low, we need to disconnect from the situation or maybe the interaction. Suppose I'm talking with you and you said something because of which I felt very offended and I went on, oh my God, is she going to find me good enough? Oh, is she going to think that whatever I'm speaking is right? Or it will just go and I won't even realize that I'm having those thoughts.
You're in the
but
loop.
if I'm, so if you are at least feeling upset for some reason, or if you're irritated, you get the discomfort, right? The moment you get discomfort anywhere,
move away.
Just close your eyes. If you don't want to close your eyes, just leave. But bring the attention to your thoughts. Now, this is a very practical step I'm talking about. Going ahead, I will say bring your attention to your breath. Going ahead, I will say keep your mind empty. So, the moment you make your mind empty, or just maybe you start looking at the leaves moving around or the fan moving around, and your thoughts vanish for a while. You raise your vibration immediately. Maybe after that, those thoughts won't even come in your mind.
Okay, so distract yourself basically.
And in fact, distracting is one step moving towards becoming more conscious. Because once you distract, once you focus, it's not about distraction actually, it's focusing your attention on the breath, then on the blank, then on the emptiness. So I'll explain that better when we start talking about consciousness.
Yeah, you can actually go on.
So consciousness is a very difficult term, very difficult to understand. So what the experts talk about, I'll just say that consciousness is being. Okay. Being what? Being nothing.
Okay.
So if we continuously think, oh, I'm who am I? I am this by profession. I am somebody's mother, somebody's wife, or whatever. I mean, I'm the citizen of this country. We're defining so many things and attaching so many things to that I. Okay. And this I needs to separate from our body, our mind. So whatever thoughts we are having, we are not that. Whatever emotions we are having, the body that we have, it's not I. I is different from that. And the moment you reach that state, you understand what is I? I is nothing. And once you become nothing, you can become everything. Once you become everything, you can become anything. And then once you become everything and anything, you feel you're connected to the whole universe. You don't feel that separation. But oh, this person is different, I am different, this tree is different, I am different. You don't hold that ego. That is where you let go your ego totally.
Okay, ego is another word, another term, another, I don't know what to call it. Is that an emotion? No.
It is.
Not. It is,
sense of self.
Sense
that
of
I
self
exist.
that people carry.
And whatever attachments we have to that.
Yeah.
So I am this, I am that. That's all is ego.
That's all ego, And very difficult for people to let go because first of all, they don't know.
Because we don't separate ourselves from this physical reality, right?
Yeah, and they don't realize when they're, certain actions that they're doing are because of the ego, which is popping its head out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't realize that, so taking ego out of the place can help you transform all your relationships.
Yeah.
And one thing which is very interesting, forget about others. That will also transform your relationship with yourself. You know why? Because somebody said something to me. Oh, but who am I? We have that me. He said something to me. I felt bad. The moment you start disconnecting from your body, the moment you stop attaching those things to yourself, life becomes easy. Oh my, I'm not something. I'm not somebody who is very great. It's okay. That person said that it was their wish. This is how we speak in practical terms. And then, disconnecting from the body and all, let us keep it aside. Not everyone would be able to connect with this. So, simple thing is, who am I? I'm not somebody who is very special. Why should I give that special treatment to me? That's their perspective. That's their thoughts. They just expressed. Why should I let that come to me?
So, isn't this contradictory to self-love then?
Here you come. That's a very, very, very good question.
Yeah.
What is self-love? Self-love is what you feel about yourself. And not letting anybody else's opinions define who you are.
Okay.
So once you know who you are, somebody said something to you, how did that matter? It was their perception. In fact, it is giving equal respect to all the individuals around. Even if they don't like you, it's okay, it's their choice. We're giving them enough freedom. So what is love? Love is freedom. What is self-love? It's freedom to yourself as well as others. What did I say in the beginning? I said that we have to learn to give ourselves and give the same thing to others. So again, I'm not differentiating self-love and love for other people. So, the interesting question that you asked, which I really, really liked because I got something to share here, is if somebody offenses you, if you feel hurt, you're feeling hurt because again you're building those barriers.
You're defining.
Yeah, and you're not giving enough freedom to the other person to have their own views, because whatever freedom you give to yourself, okay, you define yourself, you know who you are. The same thing applies to others as well. So they have equal right to hold their opinions. And what is your duty, which is a fundamental of self-love, is not to let that affect your own opinions. So keep a boundary there. And how will that boundary come? By being more and more self-aware. I know what I am. I know this color is black. If you say it's blue, is the color going to change?
Right.
Maybe you will wear a different colored goggles and look at the same color and say, oh, it's looking maybe another goggles, you'll feel this red is purple.
Yeah. And there are people who are colorblind also.
Yeah. Beautiful. So, are we going to, does that affect self-love?
Right.
No, it doesn't.
Right. Coming to selfishness. Okay. Because these again, things could be perceived as, oh, she's so selfish or he is so selfish. खुद के बारे में सोचते रहते हैं.
Yeah.
So then how do we break that
balance? Okay. So, many people ask me this question, that if we become so self-engrossed, should become so self-absorbed, and then how will I be able to give? So, you need to define some boundaries over there. Okay, I'm giving this much amount of time for me, but why am I doing it?
Okay.
I'm doing it because I want to give. The objective of self-love is not about being self-absorbed or selfish, it is about giving others. Why do we cook food at home? To give others, isn't it? We also taste it, but we also give others.
Okay.
So the objective, the intent needs to be clear. I have a habit of having a tea self-love date every morning after I leave my child to her school. Because I love cooking and I love to feed my family members wholeheartedly. But then if I have to do that, I need some motivation. So once I have that tea, I feel very motivated to give the best taste.
Okay.
So my objective is clear. It's not about me having tea, my. It's not that. It's about me feeling motivated so I can do better.
Okay.
So sometimes when I'm with my child, maybe it's a busy day, I just make it a point that I prioritize myself, give myself space. Why? Because if I don't give myself space, I will act very irritated around her, tired, a working mom who is juggling between so many things, who gets angry, irritated with a child. Is that the kind of image I want to project? Is that the kind of person I want to be? No. So what kind of mom I want to be? I want to be a mom who would be very caring towards my child. And if that needs to happen, I need to have my mind calm. If my mind needs to be calm, I need to turn inward. I need to prioritize my meditation. I need to make sure I'm fine. So ultimately the objective is to give and give. But for giving, we need to create that love within us.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said to not become too selfish or to not become too self-engrossed, you have to create a balance between.
We have to do it by defining the intention. Why am I doing this?
Okay.
I'm doing this for others. I'm not doing this for myself. I'm taking the space for myself so that I can be a better giver.
Okay. So that way then you're not selfish.
When the intent is clear, then the actions become very transparent and crystal clear, isn't it? We need to define intentions properly. But okay, if you're like, oh, I just want to prioritize myself, then it becomes selfishness.
I guess a simple example would be when you're flying, the air hostess. When, she's explaining about the air mask and everything, she's like, pehle aap pehne. First you wear it yourself and then give it to your child or
because
your
we
neighbor.
exist,
Because
we are going to help others.
If you are, yeah, okay. Alrighty. Makes sense actually, when you look at it that way. But yeah, we need to create a balance. It shouldn't become like you're so self-engrossed in your own self that you don't look what is happening around you, I guess.
Yeah, so how will you have a better control over it? By reminding yourself about the intention.
Correct.
our thoughts, our actions need to be very intentful. And every time we need to ask ourselves, why am I doing this? Once the intent is clear, everything is going to fall in place. You're not going to go wrong anywhere.
Correct. And how does one keep motivated oneself to achieve that goal, to,
remind yourself of that emotion that will come when you achieve that goal.
Okay. Come again on this.
I said that what keeps us motivated is the emotion that we attach when something is accomplished.
Okay.
But again, that goes against the principle of flow, mindfulness or whatever. Because again, we are having a goal, then we are having everything around that. The journey doesn't end there, does it? So if we start looking at life as a journey, rather than reminding ourselves about how we will feel after we achieve something, because then there's an emptiness. Once we achieve something, it's over.
Then what?
Then it should be a journey. We have to believe that every moment has infinite possibilities to find peace and happiness. So focus that, I have this moment with me, how can I make the best of it? So then our attention goes towards pursuit of happiness or peace, and you getting that in the moment itself is a huge motivation, because you will be in your best states, and once you are in your best states, you will attract the best.
Correct.
Then you will be motivated in every moment. Then the motivation is eternal. It doesn't stop.
It just flows.
Yeah.
It just flows. It comes naturally to you. Beautiful. So now one thought is coming to my mind is about, being self-aware. Okay. In terms of a relationship that you share. It can be anybody. It can be your family members. It can be your friend. Let's take one example where probably a father and son relationship.
Okay.
We see in many families where there's always some sort of a discord or a tension. Some families, not
obviously.
all, between the father and son. Okay. How would it help to mitigate that situation? Like, how much do you need to work on maybe becoming self-aware or understanding the situation? I mean, how would you?
One problem that we see in parent and child relationship is control.
Parent and
In
child.
fact, forget parent and child, but everywhere, whether it's a husband and wife relationship or two friends, we have that ego. I want things the way I want.
Yeah.
So that ego is going to make you control things. The more you try to control things, the more you spoil things.
Okay.
Why do you control? Because you don't control yourself, you control others. So the biggest change that we need to bring about, that's where transformation for happy relationships comes into the picture, is see what you can control about yourself first. Forget what the other person says. Okay, he's going to say something. He's a father. He's going to react in a certain way. What you can do? Can you change your behavior in a certain way that thing altogether gets prevented? Or can you do something because of which the whole chemical reaction happening will tone down a bit?
Okay.
Say husband and wife, because their people stand on an equal level. So accusing, blame games, you didn't do this for me, you didn't do that for me. Picking up things from the past, bringing it over and over, trying to tell the person, this is how I want you to behave. Who are you? Just let go. You decide what you want for yourself and you try to get it on your own. That is where self-love comes into the picture.
Okay.
And self-awareness gives you a better self-control. So the real battle is within you, not outside you.
Okay.
So once you start fighting your inner demons, you control lesser and lesser. Because of which the reactions that come from other people either reduce, or since you're not engaging more, the situations will simply go away from you. They don't occur again and again because you are not fueling that whole fight.
Correct.
And then that is how slowly relationships get better. If a person doesn't vibe with you, then the person is not going to keep talking, not interacting, so things will go away.
Yeah, so this vibing thingy, between friends, it's still manageable. You move away. But when it comes to families,
Yeah.
like you said, parent, child, or any other member in the family,
Boundaries.
the dynamics, yeah.
Of course, if it's a small child won't be able to set boundaries.
Of course.
But if it's about let's assume for now that we are talking about a relationship into adults.
Okay.
Say mother, child, or whatever, son and father, as you said. So there, if the father reduces control, understanding that, oh, my son is growing now, he has got his own thoughts, I'm not supposed to enter, things will get better. At the same time, then the acceptability part comes into the picture. Again, control as well, because control is not just about taking actions. Control is also about what you think about the other person, especially the children. They feel, oh, my parents, they need to change. But they don't understand that is how their journey has been. You cannot change your parents' thinking. So you have to either establish firm boundaries that, okay, now I have grown up, let us keep these things different. Either you establish physical boundaries or talk and settle down on some emotional boundaries. Okay, don't control me over these things. And the other way around also. The parents also give up control. So then somewhere the harmony can be established.
Is it easier said than done?
Yeah, it is. It's easier said than done. Because if it's a parent and child, there are going to be a lot of conflicts. So the best way is to resolve those things within you.
Okay.
With more and more acceptability, more and more forgiveness, more and more unconditional love.
Okay.
Understanding, okay, this is how they're going to be. Now what I can do about it. Then you can make the necessary changes in your practical life. But then that's why I said the real battle is not outside, it's within you.
Within you.
And we need to win it within us.
Wow. Yeah, when you start looking at things from this angle, life will be much easier, much
At least
easier.
you make peace with the situation, because most of the conflicts in our life is because we don't make peace with the situations. We keep complaining. We will keep on blaming others, or we'll try to exert certain control over their behavior. So why did you say that? It's just about the same thing. Why did you say that? Why did you do that? It's of no use. It's a wastage of your energy. So use that energy to settle down your own thoughts and make peace with your mind. Automatically your behavior is going to show up. So even the other person is going to change a bit.
Yeah. Is it easier to manage this, take this approach in relationships, in families, compared to a formal work environment? I'm just wondering right now.
Interesting. See, if it's a work environment,
The dynamics are different.
Yeah, the dynamics are different. And there, see, you can definitely practice unconditional love everywhere, but you need to keep the practicality and this thought different. So you just assume that, oh, I'm playing a role in a drama. So this is the drama of corporate. Let there be cutthroat competition, but I have nothing against this particular person or soul. Maybe the role, maybe whoever. I mean, the engineer who is involved, or the director of the company. I have issues against the director, but not that person. So separate it out. It becomes a little easier.
Yeah, because office politics bother a lot of people.
Yeah, it does.
And for many people, it is quite stressful.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, I think was it last
there
month,
I think we need to hone our practical skills more, and not bring spirituality into the picture. Spirituality is going to be useful where you will when you return home, and when that upsets you, that is where you calm down your mind, saying, oh, it's not that person. Let me not have anything against that person. It's the situation. Again, as I told you,
it is work.
Separate work. Separate it. It's a drama. So if I were, it's a game. Just imagine you playing a game with someone. So are you going to hold that grudge against somebody who is your opponent there? No, it's a game. The game is over, it's over.
Yeah.
So just separate it out.
Yeah, and I've heard somebody say that, when you're going to work or you're in a formal environment, you're always wearing a coat.
Exactly. Remove it.
Yeah, when you are home, you are natural. You are what you are
or a
with
mask,
your family.
Maybe. You call yourself somebody else. You identify yourself as that particular designation that you're carrying into the company. And the person is different. You can have two selves over there.
Right. Okay, one question that I don't know how relevant this would be, but I can't help asking. Would the same, when we talk about vibing or we talk about a certain connect, when you're meeting somebody online, because now the world is moving in that direction, you're interacting with people a lot online. And you really, can't really connect with that person online. Yeah, you can't feel the person. It's just some image which is talking to you or so. Would that distance affect the interaction in any way? Would it affect the relationship in any way? Because they say,
are you talking about a long distance relationship? Or are you talking
I was
about
just saying that long distance relationship, and when the person is there in front of you, the dynamics are different.
Wow, I like the question because it's something that really needs profound thinking. See, physical dimension is going to be there and is going to be important. However, if you are really vibing with the person and you have a channel for communication, the emotional distance won't matter.
Okay.
Everything and anything that is dependent on the physical routines, say we eat at a place, we spend time together, where we make memories, attachments, over there it will matter. So I would say partially it will matter. Obviously, given a choice, anybody would love to interact in person because there's a lot of energy exchange happening also. But at the same time, even online that happens because in my profession, it's almost online.
Okay.
There are very few in persons because I have clients across the globe, but I never had any difficulty in giving results to anyone. So I would say that the results won't make a difference as long as there's an intellectual and emotional exchange. However, if it is a romantic relationship where physical engagement is a very important aspect, there it will matter. That's why personally I believe long distance relationships don't work.
Okay.
Meeting is needed because intimacy is obviously based on physicality that we cannot transcend. What we can transcend anywhere where the energy exchange is more on emotional and intellectual and spiritual levels. There we don't need physicality. If the frequency is up, if we are resonating or we are not. There even time doesn't matter. So coming back to this part of time, especially when we talk about spending quality time, maybe with yourself or with anybody else also, if we are vibing with the same frequency or vibing high, time won't matter. Even 5 minutes spent would be like 2 days. Just imagine we met for such a long time, we discussed such diverse topics. For me, I felt like meeting a friend whom I have been with for years together. It didn't just feel that it was a first meeting. So time for me is an illusion. I don't look at time that way. And in a way, physicality also doesn't matter if it is intellectual and emotional. The rest we know.
Yeah, beautiful. Do you want to talk anything about your book which you published?
Yeah, Beyond a Love Story. So interesting. Again, we're talking about love and it's about beyond a love story. It's about a gay boy and a straight girl that talks about a family system not based on reproduction or sexuality, but on companionship. And why the concept comes into the picture, forget about the husband-wife relationship for a moment. Let's assume there's so many men and women who are singles, who have lost their partners, who are living with their kids, or maybe who are living alone. What about them? Even they deserve a family. Or maybe somebody who they lost their partners, so they're living with somebody who is their relative, but they don't vibe with whom there's nothing common. So somewhere we need a concept where we stay with people on permanent basis because we feel connected. So that is the basic storyline. And anything else you would like to know about that?
No, that's it. I mean, because it was in connection to what we were talking. So I said, do you want to mention anything about the book? Because it's a very interesting topic that you worked upon.
And it is different.
It is different,
And that's why a gay boy and a straight girl both go through the rough patches in their life. Both feel that, oh, I don't see romantic love in the picture anymore. So then what they want? Companionship.
Yeah.
And that's what is love ultimately.
Ultimately, yes, it is companionship.
That connectedness.
True. Beautiful. So on that note, thank you very much. Thank you very much for taking time out and having this engaging conversation about such interesting topics. Something that people really need to take a step back and think. and probably change their approach on so many areas. It will make the world a happy place, no?
Yeah.
A wishful thinking.
Of course. World will be a happy place only if we believe that we have to change it.
Yeah, yeah. I hope our viewers enjoy the conversation, and even if each viewer takes away something and tries to implement it in their life, I'll be very happy.
Yeah.
And do leave your comments. If you resonate with a certain topic that we have spoken of, do leave a comment and let us know your thoughts also. Thank you for watching. Thank you.